everybody. I am on a little walk. There is this nice road that runs between two sets of farmland near my house. I wouldn't say it's nice in quality. You can see the potholes that get patched. This road is certainly not set to be repaired fully anytime soon, but it is nice in convenience, and traffic's never too bad here. I'd say the only time that happens is when the nearby highway is backed up, and occasionally traffic is rerouted this way, but that's pretty rare. So it is 51 degrees Fahrenheit right now. It's the warmest weather we've had this winter. With the wind, it feels like 46 degrees, so still need, some fleece and a jacket. But I just had to get out, get some of that sunshine. It's so lovely. Where I live, the amount of sunshine that we have had for December and January could only be measured in minutes, not even hours. I mean, it feels like we've had this dark gray blanket over us. And we really have, for weeks. Two different fields. They usually grow corn in these two. This is a house that is empty. The man that lived there passed away a few years ago, but the family members, and there are quite a few because they're a big farm family, they come and check on it from time to time, and then pretty soon they'll set up their sugar maple taps on these trees, and you'll see plastic hoses on them and big plastic tubs to collect the sap. They still have garbage pickup come through here, so I think it's just easier for them to bring all their garbage over and use the two bins for the family. So that's a pretty good idea. One time I was taking a walk, and all of a sudden 3 huge guys come walking down that tree line. They'd been hunting, and they called out and said, "We don't want to scare you," which of course they absolutely did. Scared the living shit out of me. And they said, sorry, we're just hunting," and that was interesting. Yep, they grew corn in this field. Sometimes they grow soybeans. Last winter they actually grew, I think it's called sugar beets. They actually had a winter crop. They haven't done that in quite some time. Not since I've lived where I am, which has been a while, about 10 years. Yeah, that's pretty much all we have over here, the corn and the soybeans. Hope it's not too shaky for you. I just wanted to take you out with me. I thought that I would make the most of my time here, kill 2 birds with one stone, so to speak. I have a very dry scalp, and so I recently got some really nice organic rosemary oil to put on my scalp, and it is extremely oily, so you have to do it when you can really rinse it out. Let it set for a long time and rinse it out. After I used it, I did read a little more carefully that you should use a carrier oil and not just directly put it on the scalp. It said you could have quite a bit of irritation, which thankfully I didn't. But it also said that even if you don't have irritation, you could end up kind of having reactions later on. So I melted some coconut oil and put it in there. So I have very greasy, slick back hair and a ponytail right now. Just letting that sit. You can see the closest farmhouse with the big grain silos. They have chickens. There's another one over there. They're everywhere out here. So yeah, thought I would do a little hair treatment while I took a walk. And today, I keep peeking behind me because in the fall, the last few times I tried to take a walk, my little outdoor kitties insisted on following me. But they'd get kind of scared and they'd take a couple steps to follow me, and then they'd sit in the middle of this road. They'd take a few more steps, sit in the middle, and it just worried me too much. And so I didn't take any walks all winter because I couldn't figure out how to not have them follow me. So today I just walked out like I usually do, gave them some treats, and very, very quickly closed the door behind me. And I think they thought I went inside, but I tried to scoot down the driveway, and knock on wood, it worked. I love them to pieces, and if they could stay right by me, that'd be one thing, but the kind of trailing 30 feet behind in the middle of the road is not good. This is a very special tree, even though it looks like a random tree. This is where we found our first kitty cat that we have. This was in September, 6 years ago. And so, quite a lot of growth down there. Thankfully, they hadn't harvested the corn. And this little black and white fluff ball just wandered on out. He sounded like a catbird, which I thought that's what it was. But my sister knew better, and she said, I hear a cat. And he just toddled on out and let my sister pick him up. And we carried him all that way down there back home, and gave him some tuna fish and some water, and we kept we put him in the garage, kept the door open to the backyard so that people couldn't see a door was open from the road, and we just kind of said, okay, it's up to him. Does he want to be our kitty or not? And the next day when we were getting ready for work, I was rinsing some dishes or something. I was at the sink for whatever reason, and I just couldn't go look. I couldn't do it, because if he wasn't there, I'd be devastated. And I made her go look. And I shouted, is he there? She said, no, he's not in the garage. I was heartbroken. But then she stepped out onto the cement in the backyard, just that little bit of cement you see me walk on. And he came around the corner, and he was there, and he said hi. And I said, bring him in, close the door, close the door. And that was it. We just kept him. We just kept him. We got an appointment with the vet, and that was it. He's our baby. he was our baby. Had to give him a flea bath. But other than that, I mean, he was perfectly healthy. He's a good little boy. So yeah, I'm sure he comes from over there. I'm sure his mama was a barn kitty. How are you doing? This winter, I've been really tired and stressed and so busy. The most busy I think I could ever be. But it's okay. There's a job at work that I'll call it a committee, so I don't get too specific, but that needed chairmaning, to make up a word there. And I boldly, bravely, stupidly, call it what you want, took it on. I have a few more months to complete this year, and then one more year on the term after that. Maybe it's just because I'm a Cancer and, you know, Enneagram 1 and 3, or what's the archetype? The reformer, all that stuff. Maybe it's just because of those things that or achiever, whatever you want to call it. Maybe it's because of those things that I fancy myself to be doing some of the greatest work I ever will do. But this committee helps a lot of people, and I get to know a lot of different people across the different departments of my work. And it's really meaningful, but I didn't plan to take it. The person before me stepped down unexpectedly. I wasn't looking for this. I wasn't training for it. But, yeah, it happened. And it's still happening. In my profession, I work with children. That's what I trained to do. That's what I know how to do. And it's very different for me to work with adults. For better or worse, with kids, you know, you're the last stop at the line of authority. You can guide them and encourage them, but ultimately you have a certain amount of say in the options they have and certain decisions they can or cannot make. And if they make a decision that hurts themselves or others, physically, with words, emotions, even, you know, there are times they make decisions that hurt me emotionally. There can be an appropriate consequence, but with adults, it's interesting. I just lead a committee. I'm not their manager. I can't bring down the law. Can't impose a consequence. So when you see certain things happen, it's strange, very strange. Certainly a skill that was not innately developed within myself, and I wouldn't even say it's a thing I think will ever be a strength, but I try. I seek to understand. I try to take off the hat, so to speak, of what I know and do and see it from their perspective, all while wearing the hat of someone who represents all the people in our group. So it's just something. I'll tell you, one thing that I said to a colleague the other day, and she laughed when I said it. And I don't know if she laughed because she never thought about it before and it struck her as interesting, or she was just laughing at the words I chose to string together. But I said that the longer I work with adults, and the more I realize how much privilege can corrupt critical thinking, hell, common sense even, the more you are used to getting your way just because you woke up, especially a privileged white male. Whew, buddy. The harder it is for you to see through someone else's eyes, make a decision based off someone other than yourself. Now, you've seen parts of me. I am quite privileged adjacent. No denying that. And thanks to some extremely kind and patient influences in my life, they have led me to a path of reflection and learning to examine that privilege and be aware of it, be conscious of it, and try to act in a way that honors the struggles of others. Some of the folks that I am listening to their gripes, thoughts, questions, queries, preferences, boy. Just want to throw in the towel on the understanding side of things and just give them a good old lecture like you would an 8-year-old throwing a temper tantrum. And we'll see. I'm pretty tired. My patience is pretty thin. The night is young, so to speak. It could happen yet. I also try to tell myself, and again, this could be another symptom of grandiose, self-important thinking. I don't know, but the more certain people are mad at me, the more I think I'm leading us in the right direction, right? When in doubt, if the super privileged people aren't that happy with you, you're probably making the right waves. You're probably shaking out and pulling apart some bullshit. Who knows? Do you ever think like that? Do you ever think about your legacy or what you'll be remembered for? I don't know why I think about that so much. I think I know. I mean, I had some amazing teachers in my life who saw thousands of children in their careers, and they do leave a legacy behind. They're very much remembered. Ooh, car in front. Evidence of that. Talk to their former classmates. They're beloved. I could only dream of that. heroes. You know, from my perspective, they've done very well to be cherished and remembered within their community. And then my dad died when I was in middle school. I was very young, and he was a joyful, exuberant, hellishly funny, devilishly funny human being who lit up a room. And I have spent the time since his passing meeting people who remember him and every joke he ever told them, or every funny thing he ever did. I mean, what a legacy that is. I think in my very formative years, that became the yardstick by which I've measured myself. My mom tells me all the time, I'm hard on myself. But I think I have a gift for seeing the world in a way where I know I have gifts to give and changes I can help start, and lives that I can help guide. Very lucky in that way. It's probably selfish to do that and then expect to be remembered for it, you know. It's not really the point of service at all. But who knows? That's how I think. It's a burden I put solely on myself. There's no one responsible for it but me. So I suppose if I don't like it at some point, nobody to talk to but myself. Maybe that's also a burden of an old soul who's done this before. I felt from a very young age I knew exactly what my goals were and what steps I needed to take to reach them. And it felt like time was dragging as I waited to be old enough to finally have the career I'd waited for my whole life and make the impact I sought to make. I think that also comes from having a parent only live into their late 40s. I'm coming up on 10 years until I'm the age he was when he died. See that thicket over there? The deer bed down there, and they cross into that tree line to decide where they're going to go eat. So there's all sorts of critters back there. It's a little bit of a valley, so it makes a vernal pool as well for the froggies and the toads. They'll be waking up soon. So yeah, I have a blessing and a curse of knowing that life is short. And not thinking in a morbid way, but just a truthful way. What if I just had the time he had? What could I do with it? What would I leave behind? Any years I have past what he had, that's just the icing on the cake. That's great. So I kind of have this mental deadline in my head of what I need to get done soon. I'm sure that sounds crazy. It's beautiful, we're all different. I tell the kids I work with that all the time. If we were all the same, life would be so boring. Thank goodness. We all have different gifts. We all see things differently. There's an activity I do I stole from my sister, and it's 4 pictures, and you put it up on a projection screen, and it's a horse, a nose, an anvil, and a clock. You have to you always have to explain what an anvil is to them. They pick which doesn't belong. The horse, the nose, the anvil, or the clock. And every year I do this, you can almost tell who's going to pick which thing. The kids that pick the horse, those are my super, super, super black and white thinkers. Like, they're the kids who, usually you have to say the stove is hot, and they go, is it? And they have to touch the stove to learn it's really hot. They don't believe you just because you said it. Or maybe they're folks who things don't come easy for them. They have to try something several times before they can learn it. There's kind of no muss, no fuss thinkers. The folks that pick the nose, a lot of times they'll tell me it's because it's a part. A nose is part of a greater thing. A horse, an anvil, and a clock they are complete objects. They represent an entire complete thought. A lot of times these are my mathematical pattern kids. They can learn or memorize quickly. Lots of times the kids that pick the nose, they'll do their assignments quickly and accurately, but they'll want to know exactly what they have to do, how many of these problems do I have to do to get that good grade. And that's exactly what they'll do, and not anymore. The anvil group is often an interesting group. These are usually kids that are kind of out-of-the-box thinkers. I've had kids say, well, a nose can be runny, a horse can run, and a clock can run out of time. How does an anvil run? I think that's pretty cool. Sometimes I'll say, this group and the next group as well will be sitting there going, oh no, the room's on fire and the door's hot, what do we do? And they're sitting there going, 10 minutes ago I told you there was a window open. No one listened to me. A little stubborn, a little kooky. Maybe they don't want to do an assignment at all because they don't see the value in it. The last two groups have a lot of that in common. This of the last two groups, a little more language-based. Ravenclaws, you might say. And then the clock kids, same thing. Like, why would you go to the door when the window's open? Why does it matter? Really out-of-the-box thinkers, inventive, kind of your Einsteins. Like, why do I need to brush my hair? I need to solve world peace. I'm busy. Get out of my way. Some movers and shakers for sure. And then always happens. Sometimes it's one kid. But when it's one kid, they get a little embarrassed. But sometimes it's several kids. And they'll say all or neither are the one to be removed. And I tell them to sit in the middle. Because I put each group in a corner usually. And they'll sit in the middle. And whew, talk about stubborn. This is a group that will not be told what to do. There's a helicopter from our local hospital. That's never a good sign when you hear that. Somebody's getting picked up. But oh mouse. Oh mousey mouse went in that hole. Boy, all sorts of things happening. The kids that sit in the middle, they just cannot let go of the idea that there's a fifth answer. They are a dog with a bone. Those are your arguers, your lawyers, well, you can't tell me there's one right way. I'll tell you what's right. And I think they get pretty jazzed to have an activity that tells them that's okay. And they aren't forced to pick. They're celebrated for refusing to pick in a way. It's a great way to make partners. I mean, it works with adults too. If you need people to work together in a team, and you want to know who approaches things in a similar way, accomplishes it immediately. But what's cool about it is, because it's such a weird mishmash of things, horse nosy and dog, it kind of takes the guard down of people realizing that's what you're doing. A lot of times if somebody says, here's a personality test, you kind of put yourself in the box you've been told you're supposed to be in. Either you go to your comfort zone, or you just get nervous that, well, when I pick an answer, they're going to group me with someone, so I better just go off of where my friend goes. Where my safe person, my best bud goes.